as opposed to the portrait. We'll see how this works overall.
Oh, okay.
There we go. Let me get the chats up and going.
Yes, yes.
Hi, Tiff.
Hey.
Dr. Tiff, how are you?
I'm good. I'm glad you said that, Dr. Tiff, because my mom last week was like, why you keep calling you Tiff? Does he know you?
Right, Dr. Tiff. You know what? I hate to say it like this, but I've got to know you on a personal basis. I feel like we're just close friends, and I don't call my close friends doctor or stuff like that. So yeah, I need to make sure I get, especially in this setting, because yes, we're bringing in a doctor. So Richard, how are you, buddy? Folks, welcome to Tracy. Welcome to this live stream, guys. My name is Jim, and I reversed type 2 diabetes. And that's a funny thing to say. I used to have type 2 diabetes. I have reversed it. I'm in remission. I don't take medication for it anymore because my doctor told me I could quit taking it. However you want to word it, I just don't have it anymore. And there's a lot of different ways that we could word it, right? But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because I don't have it anymore. I had a 12.2% A1C. I now have a completely unmedicated for about the last 15, 16 months. No, I'm sorry, 17, 18 months. February of last year, that's 17 months. 17 and a half. But who's counting? 5.2% with no medication. Along the way, I also had really, really bad cholesterol. Doctor, I don't know if I've told you this number yet, but my LDL was 459.
Oh, shoot.
And then, we're kind of focused on the triglycerides and HDL ratio there. My triglycerides were 561 and my HDL was 22, and that is a 25.5 ratio. So at the end of the day, I sit here talking into this live stream completely unmedicated. My numbers are all in the normal range. I was on 2,000 milligrams a day of metformin. I was on a 4.5 milligram pen of Trulicity once a week. Both of those are max doses. And then I was also on 40 milligrams a day of rosuvastatin calcium, which is the generic for Crestor, again, a max dose, and then 50 milligrams a day of losartan, which, Dr. Tiffany, I don't know, that's not a max dose, but that's not a light dose, is it? 50 milligrams a day?
It's the starting dosage.
Is it? Okay. Yeah. So I don't have any of that anymore. Awesome. I'm not on any of it anymore. And I went to social media and started talking about the products that we're going to talk about in this live stream. And along the way, I've met Dr. Tiffany. And Dr. Tiffany, I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself because yours, I love hearing this.
Oh, well, thanks. I appreciate you, Jim. And I was giving you a hard time because my mom actually joked and was like, who is that man? I was like, he's my friend, Mom. So you don't have to say Dr. Tiffany every time. I know what you're saying. But anyhow, I am a real medical doctor. But you know what? I just got tired of writing prescriptions. One, the hand cramping thing is enough. But when you see somebody that has 10 scripts for high blood pressure, high cholesterol, type 2 diabetes, and then all the side effects for those meds, it becomes, why am I doing this? This is no longer fun. I am no longer helping people get better. What's great meeting people like Jim is seeing people get off of medications, and that alone turned my life around. I was trying to teach people these lifestyle changes, and it was hard for them to latch on. So yeah, I could help some people, but it was still too many people that needed help. And so when I came across these products with somebody on social media like this, it became a no-brainer. And here I am talking with the healthy pitmaster who's been able to reverse so many things that it's just why I'm here. So I'm so excited you guys are on. I'm so excited and inviting so many people in. We just can't wait to get started.
So we're going to be doing this call every single week, and I couldn't be more excited about this. I love the interaction between the two of us. The jester and the queen, I feel like what this is, right? We got the person who actually knows what they're talking about, and then there's me. what we've got ahead of us tonight, we've got 3 people that have had an amazing experience on the products. But I think, Dr. Tiffany, it would be important, I think, before we start bringing people in, to maybe explain what exactly is the problem. And you know, what is the problem? What causes the problem? And then are we just talking about type 2 diabetes? Is it just type 2 diabetes, or are there other things? And I'm going to hand the ball off to you there with that.
Oh, yes. I mean, the reality is we have this tough study that shows that only 7% of Americans are actually metabolically healthy. That means pretty much most of us are not. And there's so many things that are related to the root cause of this, which is insulin resistance, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, high cholesterol, arthritis, that awful joint pain, that darkness on the back of your neck or under your arms. You're not just dirty. I mean, the skin tags, that's insulin resistance too. Psoriasis, that's another skin condition that some people aren't aware of. I mean, so connected with insulin resistance. Polycystic ovarian syndrome. I mean, that's the main cause of infertility for women. So to know that it is so hugely related to everything, it makes sense that 93% of Americans are walking around with something on this list. And you know what? That's just me saying off the top of my head. I know I'm not picking up everything. What else? Erectile dysfunction, that hard belly fat. That is not supposed to be there. That doesn't come with age. That doesn't come just because you went through menopause. That is insulin resistance. So once we understand that's the root, then trying to find something that helps us. Yes, love this picture because I know I missed some stuff. Dementia, migraines, that's another one. And then how about even Alzheimer's? Because that's type 3 diabetes of the brain. That's sugar plaques in the brain, guys. So when we do something to decrease the sugars on what we're eating, then we can then decrease the insulin and attack that root. So that's what we're talking about.
And I think it's important to point out this image here. I actually downloaded this image from insuliniq.com. That is a website that's owned and maintained by Dr. Benjamin Bickman. Dr. Ben Bickman is a professor of cellular biology and physiology at BYU. Dr. Ben Bickman has kind of dedicated his life to the study of insulin resistance. This image right here, I think, is so telling because here I always thought that obesity led to type 2 diabetes. But this image kind of tells us that no, it doesn't lead to type 2 diabetes. It's caused by the same thing that causes type 2 diabetes. And then so many of these things at 30 years old, I had arthritis in both of my shoulders at 30 years old. And I just blamed it on full contact sports. I played a lot of football and I just blamed it on that. I haven't had arthritis since I started this. My shoulders feel wonderful. Migraine headaches. You know, Dr. Tiff, I started suffering from migraines at 9 years old. I would be the 4th grade kid who would put himself to bed at 5 p.m. because I just couldn't take the migraines. And, you know, at the time we thought, well, I had an allergy to chocolate because, well, I would put chocolate milk, a chocolate cookie into every one of my lunches. And we thought, well, it's got to be the chocolate. You know, it's like, what I've learned now, what if it was just the sugar? Why did we not ever pick up on that? High blood pressure. I had high blood pressure at 23 years old. We had our first son, and the guy came to our house to do the home fitness test for my life insurance, and I had 148 over 108 blood pressure at 23 years old. So many of these things I had early symptoms on, and then when I turned 44, I got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and I was like, well, where did that come from?
Right.
I'd been having signs for the better part of 30 years. I just didn't listen to them. So let's go side by side. I'm sorry, getting the images here. Okay, so guys, I would ask everybody that's listening right now, we got about 50 people in here, something like that. Here's the deal. If you know anybody, let me put that image back up here. Let's do this. No, I want this. See, I'm clumsy with it. Let's try that again. There we go. If you know anybody who has any of those, then type the word, the symbol @ If you type the symbol @ and then start typing their name, it will invite them into this. Now, I also want to point out that this is also being sent out to YouTube as well as Instagram and Twitter, and it's on a lot of different social media platforms. So on those platforms, just share this with somebody. If they don't have Facebook, share the YouTube platform with them. Everybody can access YouTube. This is being broadcast on YouTube as well. So try and invite 5 people. If everybody listening right now invites 5 people, just imagine how many people will be in here listening to Dr. Tiffany and potentially changing their lives. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, do something about it. Break the cycle. Break the cycle, right?
That's it right there.
So I want to introduce some people here who have had some pretty amazing testimonials on this protocol. The first person I've gotten to know really, really well over the last a little over a year, about 14, 15 months. Her name is Ro. Dolanda, but I call her Ro. Everybody calls her Ro. Ro, why don't you take the stage here? Tell us about you. Oh, where did you go, Ro? Well, there she is. I don't think I did that. If I did that, I'm sorry. You there, Ro? Can you hear us?
Hello.
There you are.
I can now.
Tell us about you, Ro. Where were you at 14 months ago? How did we meet? Where were you at? And where are you at now? I don't know if she's freezing up or not. I think she's freezing up. Uh-oh. I think she's freezing up. Let's try this again. You there, Ro? You there, Ro?
There you are.
There you are.
You ready for the question?
I was asking, when you and I met, 14, 15 months ago, I guess, how did we meet? Where were you? I know it's hard to believe it was that long ago. How did we meet? Where were you at with your health then? And where are you at now?
Okay. Hello, everyone. We met on TikTok, of all places, right? Small world. Met on.
We keep losing Ro. I wonder if that's on my side or if that's on hers. I'm not losing you, so it makes me think that, but she's always got good connectivity.
Oh, man.
You there, Ro? Of course.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Try it
I'm
again.
Here.
Try it again.
Okay. So we met on TikTok. You were doing your lives, telling your story, giving people advice. Not advice, telling people your story, your health journey. And of course, I was looking for that because a lot of people didn't know, and probably a lot of people, they're going to find out today that I was diagnosed type 2 7 years ago. Absolutely nobody knew that. My husband, my doctor, and myself knew that I was type 2. And that's the way I wanted it. I didn't want the sympathy, right? So you were telling your story and you were backing things by science. And that caught my attention because I wanted something easy. I wanted something, all you got to do is, all you have to do is this, this, and this. That's what I wanted. And the way you presented and you had everything, the facts that were backed by science, 3 easy steps. That's what I wanted. My A1C started at over 14%. And when I say over 14%, I mean literally over, not a specific number, because the lab that my doctor sent my blood work to, their equipment didn't go above 14. So it was out of range by who knows, 0.1, possibly 1 entire point, possibly 5, 10 points, possibly. I have zero ideas to this day. But I started on the system, I started using the tools, and 4 months later, my A1C was down to 5.9. So something that could not be read or measured is definitely on the charts, almost within normal range. I am in remission. I have reversed it. Dr. Jason Fung said it is preventable and it is reversible. I stand on those. I'm not swayed by any means when it comes to being an X type 2. And that's it. I do a live every morning telling people my story. I love the system. I love the tools. It's too easy not to try. Something that people think that is a lifelong, is connected to the hip. It's no longer. Yes.
Ro, when you first started, I want to kind of pick at something that you and we've kind of touched on a little bit over the last year. You were skeptical. You thought you were going to get your money back. By the way, everybody listening, there's a 90-day money back guarantee. They guarantee you're going to be satisfied. They don't even guarantee. They used to guarantee by blood work, that your blood work, they guaranteed that you were going to see a reduction in your A1C and your cholesterol. They used to guarantee that, but that was a little bit hard to police. So they started just saying, you know what? If you're not satisfied, ask for your money back. 90-day money back guarantee. And Ro, there she goes. Here she comes back. I'll bring you back. I'm not ready to let you go. You wanted to prove the company wrong. You wanted your money back. Will you kind of build on that a little bit? Talk just to that point a little bit.
So
what was your mindset?
When you said, so when you were talking about 3 easy steps, and the company said, if you are not happy, that's the thing that caught me. If you are not happy, they didn't say bring the boxes. It was like your happiness. They cared about your happiness. So if you're not,
that's the way it's going to be, Dr. Tiff.
You think with everyone? No. But what's so funny, I have somebody in the comments, one of my people, said the same thing.
Yeah, Fran, I see that.
They're caring about your feed on it. They care about your happiness. It's not even just your blood work, like you said, your happiness. Give it 90 days, 3 months, 1 day at a time. So that's what I did. I learned my A1C was over 14% March 15th. I had until June 6th to do something. And in 37 days, my A1C that was over 14% went down to 7.5. So right then, who needs the money back? I was unmedicated at this point, and I knew it worked. You got the tools are there. It's backed by science. You just give it 90 days. Let the company put their money where their mouths are. They are wanting to give you your money back if it doesn't work.
I love it. Doc, I'm going to let you kind of run with this because I know you got 1,000 things going through your mind. My one question to you is, in all the years that you've been practicing medicine, have you ever seen 37 days in excess of 14 to 7.5? And if so, I mean, is that something you see regularly, or is that like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I wish I could say I saw that often, because honestly, if that was the case, I wouldn't be here. But no, I have not seen that often. And maybe once or twice for people who like really went at it, really went hard, did everything I told them to do. But no, those are great results.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. Ro, I love having you in here. I appreciate you coming in here. What parting words would you have to anybody who's listening to your story? And it's inspirational. I love your story. What would you have to say to anybody who is listening right now?
I would say, if you are on the fence, first of all, if you're type 2, if you are connected to any of those bubbles that Jim showed earlier, get on the system. From an X type 2, listen to what I'm saying. My A1C was out of range. We don't get on here just to look cute and all those things. We are serious about this. This is life-giving, life-changing, life-restoring tools. And they're all natural. Hop off the fence, get with us, and we will walk with you on this journey. Best thing I've ever done concerning my health.
I love that you said that. So there's a lot of people being tagged into here. Let me tell you that if somebody is tagging your name into this live stream, that means that they've thought of you along this way. And take that as a compliment. That means that somebody cares about you, right? So if you're interested in trying the product, get with whoever tagged you into this, okay? Whoever brought you into this live stream, whoever put you in front of us, get with that person and they will tell you how to order the program, how to order the products. It is a company that works strictly off referrals. You're never going to see some commercial with a paid actor out there saying, woohoo, this happened. You're going to actually see real people like myself who's reverse type 2 diabetes, or Ro, who's reverse type 2 diabetes, or Dr. Tiffany, who is a doctor who's sick and tired of seeing people not reverse type 2 diabetes. I don't want to put words in your mouth, Dr. Tiffany, but I feel like I saw one of your videos that said just that. I think the video was, I'm going to paraphrase, I'm tired of prescribing medications that don't work. Is that kind of what you said? What did you say? What was the video? How did you say that?
No, well, I mean, that you can extrapolate that. I'm tired of writing prescriptions and then having to write prescriptions for the side effects of prescriptions, and people still don't look any better. That's what I'm tired about.
Love it. Okay, so by the way, I'm gonna put my little image back up here again. If you know somebody who suffers from any of those, know that they're caused by the same thing, insulin resistance, and this product addresses that insulin resistance. So if you know anybody who suffers from any of those right there, all you have to do in this live stream is type the @ symbol and then start spelling their name, and it will tag them into here. You can hit enter, and that will tell them to come in just like it just did for you, inevitably for you. So do that. If you know somebody that could benefit from this, then just type the @ symbol and bring them in. But I want to bring in Dr. Tiff, a guy named Andy. Andy, the guy he's a great guy, and here he is. Andy, what's up, brother? How are you?
Not much. How are y'all?
You know, man, I am awesome. I'm living life.
Yes. Same here.
Good. I'm hot.
It is storming there, huh? Hey, Andy, I want to ask a question. The same question I just asked Ro is, how did we meet? Where were you at health-wise when we met? And where are you at? And what was the time frame there? Tell your story, brother. I'm going to put you on the big screen here.
All right. Well, we met. I'm gonna say we met on TikTok. I was just had been scrolling TikTok, and I had seen you a couple of times, and I had very recently had my doctor informed me that if I didn't do something about my diabetes, that the next step was for me to go on some type of shot. We didn't get into the brass tacks about it, what kind, but I'm assuming it was some kind of insulin or something. We didn't go that far, and probably a couple of days after I got that news from her, you popped up, and I was at work, and I was like, I'm going to watch this whole thing. And there was just something about you that hit home with me. And so I just watched the whole thing at work. And but my health was, I thought I was semi-healthy. But my dad had diabetes. My A1C was a 10. My cholesterol had done gotten high. I was on cholesterol medicine. I was on metformin. I was on 2,000 milligrams of metformin. Cholesterol medicine. I was on my liver enzymes. I had been diagnosed with a fatty liver for, I don't know, 15 years. Never got any help for that from the doctor. It was just, well, you just got a fatty liver, and that was all I was ever told. It was like, here, take 2 of these and call me in the morning. So I'm not going to say I was at rock bottom, but I had hit a low when she told me I was going to have to go on shots. And I had been, it had been some years dealing with it up and down as far as I had never gotten it down to a decent range, my A1C that is. I had gotten it down to maybe a 6, 7 or 7, but it always stayed at 9 or higher. It probably had gotten higher than a 10 at some point or another, but I just, every time I had went to the doctor and had it checked, it was at least a 10. So like I said, I had watched your whole live that day, and when you got to the fasting part, probably the kicker for me was when you got to the fasting part and was like, if you skip breakfast and you're fasting, and when I got to calculating up how much money I was going to save by not eating breakfast because I would eat out every morning, that was way beyond the amount of money that this system was going to cost me. And so I was like, my money back guarantee, it's actually going to save me money. And so I was worth a shot. And that was last part of December of last year. So I've been on the system 8 months. And the last time I had my blood work done about 3 months ago, it was down, my A1C was down to a 5.4. All my cholesterols were down. My liver enzymes were in the normal range for the first time in over 10 years. 10 years was as far back as I could go on my blood work and look, was 10 years. It was the first time in 10 years my liver enzymes had been normal. So me and the doctor talked, and she said, I'm going to take you off of the metformin and your cholesterol medicine, and we'll see where you're at in 6 months. So it just by chance I have had to have some blood work done in between just for other things, and everything that I could see on it was still everything was still good. That was like a month ago. So, like I said, my biggest kick was you connected with me for some reason. And when you're going out and spending $10, $8 to $10 for breakfast every morning, that's gonna pay for the system.
That's a cup of coffee now, brother. That's a cup of coffee. Now, I took my daughter.
Oh, yeah, sure. No doubt. But
my daughter wanted a cup of coffee from the local coffee shop this morning. It was $6.50, I think, something like that, for a cup of coffee.
Right.
Wow.
I want to, Annette Holloway asked this question. Annette, I saw you ask it. If the benefit is achieved in 3 months, is it necessary to continue the regimen? Dr. Tiff, you want to take that one?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. You know what? People go to the gym and build their muscles, right? You stop going, where those muscles go. So when we're trying to reverse insulin resistance and you become insulin sensitive, as soon as you start eating all those carbohydrates, stop doing the activity, stop managing your stress, you will go right on back being to insulin resistant. So do you have to keep using the products to the same degree? Probably not. It probably becomes more of a spot thing once you reach your goals and actually become insulin sensitive. But you're going to, from time to time, probably want to use the products, but definitely keep up the lifestyle.
Love it. And then I didn't want Annette to think that I didn't want to answer that, but I didn't want to stop Andy. And Annette, I hope that answered your question. Doc, something I meant to do with Ro and I didn't do with Ro. I'm going to take myself out of the image and just put you and Andy up here. And would you go through and explain, all the things that happened to Andy? Reverse type 2 diabetes, cholesterol numbers are down, and then his fatty liver, all of his liver enzymes are normalized. Would you kind of explain the mechanism there? What is going on? How is this happening to him? How does it work?
Hey, Andy. Oh my gosh, I love your story. I love it. I love it. I didn't even give you the pom-poms yet. But no, that is so awesome. Now, the fatty liver, which is so important. I'm glad you had that experience because that's important to even bring up why we need to even talk about that. But the reason why you get all that fat in your liver is because when you're insulin resistant, you have no place to store it. You have no place to store that fat. It then gets stored in places like your liver where it's not supposed to be. So when you're reversing that and when you're doing stuff like the fasting and you start tapping into the ketones and start releasing that fat, that's how you can get that fat out the liver, which is huge because it's not supposed to be there anyway. That is so important. That whole period that you go into where glucagon turns on and then goes to the fat cells to get them to break down the fat into short chain fatty acids and ketones, it's phenomenal. And we get that process even with the fasting, right? And so that's how we help the sugar too, same way. Now, when we have that GLP-1 function that the yerba mate gives us, and everybody knows about GLP-1s, that's where you actually kind of increase, makes your stomach feel like it's full. And so then you don't eat as much. So it makes it easier to not eat all those carbohydrates, but it also tells your mind you're not hungry and it turns off that carb noise, that food noise. So thus you can bring down that sugar and that insulin, which is huge, which is how you were getting those sugar improvements. And then the cholesterol. I mean, we have such great things in that fiber blend. We have that 7-strand fiber blend. We already have enough data that says if you eat 40 grams of fiber, you can get your cholesterol down. But who's eating that? I wasn't eating 40 grams of fiber. So adding that to our lifestyle. I mean, were you? Come on, most people don't. So when you add that fiber in there, it decreases that cholesterol. In fact, what it does is it kind of psychs your body out because it's plant sterols in that balance that we have. And so your body thinks that's real cholesterol and binds to it when it's really the plant cholesterol. So you don't even deal with the cholesterol you ate, which is huge. Another way to decrease those numbers. I mean, I can keep talking forever, but your story is awesome, Andy. And this is the reason why I'm even here, to ramble on about all this stuff I love.
And a lot of that to me was Jim never said anything about the liver enzyme. I mean, the fatty liver, not in the one that I seen. Now we've talked about it after, but when I seen those numbers, I mean, my doctor was ecstatic. I mean, she was like, I don't know what kind of magic you're doing, but keep it up. And I'm like, well, that here it is if you want to see it, I don't know what all it is. I mean, I can tell the difference. I know I've lost at least 35 pounds, but it's the visual that I can see veins in my hands and my arms that I haven't seen in a long time, and the inflammation. I'm going to call it inflammation because that's the only thing I think of it is. It's just inflammation. My legs have shrunk down, and to me the losing the weight was a bonus. I mean, but the getting my A1C and my sugar and my cholesterol under control was the biggest, but everything else was just a bonus.
Dr. Tiffany, you just kind of touched on something, GLP-1. Everybody's talking about GLP-1, and for those that are unfamiliar with that, it's an incretin hormone that's produced in our guts. Our bodies have made GLP-1 for a million years. That our bodies do that, and it's typically induced by the foods that we eat. So certain foods that contain something called chlorogenic acid, the chlorogenic acid actually tells our body to produce GLP-1. And what we know through science is that when GLP-1 levels are elevated, glucose and insulin levels are suppressed. And when glucose and insulin levels are suppressed, well, then the fat cell starts to shrink. And so increasing our body's GLP-1 is very, very beneficial. And rather than teach people about the right foods that induce GLP-1 production, we just go to the easy button. And the easy button right now is Ozempic and Mounjaro and all those things. Now, Dr. Tiffany mentioned increasing our GLP-1. One of the products that we use is called Unimate, and it is a yerba mate extract. Yerba mate is a tea that's been pretty widely consumed for the last 500 to 1,000 years. Now, it's indigenous to South America, the regions that are now Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay. And the indigenous people have been consuming this for, like I said, 500 to 1,000 years. Well, there's something inside of inside of yerba mate called chlorogenic acid that induces GLP-1 production. Now, Unimate, which is the yerba mate extract, they're still getting the original leaf, the leaf that they've been using for 1,000 years. They still fire roast it in a very similar way to the way that it's always been done. But then they stop that traditional process and they extract the things that we want, like chlorogenic acid and theobromine and some other good things. Then they concentrate it and purify it. They get rid of the things we don't want, like pesticides and heavy metals. Now, that particular tea, Unimate, has been studied ad nauseum. But one person in particular, Dr. Ben Bickman, and Andy, I'm going to go ahead and let you off the hook here, brother. But before I do that, if you were talking to somebody right now, what would your parting words be with regard to this system?
I would say anybody that has any type of medical issue, it doesn't matter. To me, it wouldn't matter what it was to try it and see. Just try it. I mean, it's got a money back guarantee. Just try it. I mean, for an example is, my Jennifer's mother. I mean, she went about a week ago and had her blood work done, and her kidney functions are improving. So it's, it works for who knows what all.
It kind of it's a one size fits all sort of thing.
Right. I would just give it a try.
90 days.
Yeah.
Okay, brother.
To lose.
I appreciate you. I want to go to a little bit of the science. I appreciate you, Andy, man. Thank you for coming in here. I'm going to show a research paper right here, Dr. Tiff, that I love to show. Well, how do I do this? Let's see. I want to go right here. This study right here, can you see that? Oh, nope, you can't. There we go. I got to turn it on. Okay, so this is from PubMed. That's an official website of the United States government. This is PubMed Central, NIH.gov, and it looks at a yerba mate supplement. And the interesting thing is this published research was done by Dr. Ben Bickman, widely perceived to be the top metabolic scientist in the world. And the tea that he looked at was Unicity's Unimate. That's pretty powerful. That is pretty dang powerful when the world's leading metabolic scientist is actually studying this product right here. Now, to your increase of GLP-1, he also said that it increases GLP-1 by up to 70% during a fasted state. That's huge. That's huge. The world's leading metabolic scientist said that this tea right here increases your body's GLP-1 production by up to 70% during a fasted state. And there was a question in here that I didn't want to miss. What was
about the diet?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take that one first, and I'm gonna give it right back to you.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what's really cool, Unicity, that the 90-day money-back guarantee doesn't mention anything about diet. Their money-back guarantee says that you're going to be satisfied if you eat pizza 3 times a day, every single day. They still guarantee you're going to see some level of improvement or ask for your money back. Now, is that a smart thing to do? Probably not the best decision for you to do. That's probably why you're listening to us right now. So with that in mind, I always recommend making better choices at the table. Okay. And so for me personally, I definitely go with a lower carb, high fat diet more frequently than I don't. Last night I had a nice piece of pan fried fish with real butter, and we did some broccoli and a nice salad. Low carb, high fat. So that's my answer to it. Dr. Tiffany, what is your answer to that question?
Well, I think the key to any lifestyle change is to not do anything radical. So the reality is you have people that change nothing and still have good results, which is huge, right? So that's why I call it a transition product. My goal is to get people more on the eating more vegetables. And even eating the fruit is okay too. Just don't overdo that. Those are more like nature's dessert. Try and do your low glycemic carbs, but they still aren't the star of your plate. Where more of your stars are your fiber and your protein. But the order in which you eat is hugely important. Doing the fiber first, doing the protein, then doing the carbohydrates if you still feel like you really want to eat them, and then make sure they're fiber-rich carbohydrates at that. But point being, you don't have to change a thing and people have great results. But what I teach is those things, which is very similar to what Jim is talking about.
I just figured I would go ahead and pin a couple of comments while we were going here. Now, Dr. Tiffany, I will let you set up Myra because truthfully, I've met Myra through this. So let you introduce Myra. And Myra, how are you?
Hey, Myra.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. First of all, if you guys haven't tagged everybody you need to tag, you need to tag for this story right here. This lady right here. She actually called me. Well, one, I was actually blessed to be able to spend some time with her. And once she started going to town about what she's dealing with, I'm an honest person. I honestly had no clue of what these things could do for her. So just trust me. If you have not been tagging somebody, you've been holding out on somebody, you need to start tagging them right now to hear this story. And I am so blessed to have Myra as one of my now friends. We spend so much time. We've been traveling together.
Yes.
And you want to hear this story. So I'm going to be quiet. Take me off.
Okay. Well, hi, everybody. Good evening. My name is Myra Miller Whitfield. I'm actually Minister Myra Miller Whitfield. And that's important because I try and take God with me everywhere that I go. I just want to tell you guys my story about the Feel Great system. So 3 years ago, I had the worst case of COVID that I think that a lot of people have ever heard. And I know that it did a lot of bad things to a lot of people, but it left me with some gifts that were not good. First of all, I want to tell you that prior to COVID, I never took medication. I was rarely sick with a cold. I wasn't the type of person that would take aspirin for a headache because I was known as a lightweight medically, which meant if I took anything, the times that I tried to take Tylenol or a cold medicine, it would knock me out for hours. And so I wasn't the type of person that took medicine when I started to not feel well. When I didn't feel well, I would automatically go to something healthy to eat, whether it was a salad or oranges or, an apple or whatever. That's what my go-to was. So when I got COVID, it grabbed a hold to me in a way that I cannot even describe. It left me with so many ailments, so many. And I'm just going to rattle off a few of them. I had rheumatoid arthritis. I had heart palpitations, meaning I could be sitting like I am now and my heart rate would go to 130, 140 for no apparent reason. When I had my lungs examined, I had the lungs of a 90-year-old. I was told that by a pulmonologist. I had high blood pressure, high cholesterol. None of these things I had prior to contracting COVID-19. I had neuropathy. I had like tingling in my hands and in my feet. And I even had something that I described to my doctor as Jesus crown. It was like the crown of my head up here would just tingle. And I had the worst headaches known to man. I also had brain fog. I couldn't remember simple phrases or simple words. And I'll give you an example. My husband and I were talking about going to dinner. He was going to take me out. And he's like, I know you like, the Japanese restaurant. What do you want? And I could not think of for the life of me what sushi was. I kept saying, it's rolled up in rice and da da da. So I'm sure there are a lot of people that can relate to that. Emotionally, as you might have guessed, this went on for 3 years. I actually got COVID in 2020, the summer of 2020, right before school started. I was medically retired from my job because I tried to go back, and a school that I had been in for the last 12 years, I could not navigate. I couldn't find my own classroom. And so it was rough. It was really rough. Imagine being thrown into a different lifestyle. I'm used to dealing with high school age special needs kids every day. And I am just basically just told, you're not fit to work. You can't, do anything. I was really having a lot of trouble, even with simple tasks. I was unable to go to the grocery store. I could not walk into a grocery store and shop like a normal person. Because of the pain in my legs that would happen at night, my muscles would just wrench in pain. I ended up on a walker. I ended up using medical devices in my home to help me bathe, to help me do a lot of different things. I just really was having a lot of trouble. Emotionally, as you might have guessed, I was not doing well. So there were a lot of things that came along with that. At any rate, I started going to doctors. I was sent to post-COVID clinic at UAB to be seen by specialists, all these different specialists. And they were doing the best they could. It was new. They didn't know a lot about it. But I want to show you what my end result was from going to all of those doctors. And this is no shade to any of them because I'm sure they were doing the best that they could. But this is what I ended up with as a result. I don't know if you all can see these medications, but I've talked to my friends about this mixing bowl of meds that I had and that I tried. And all they did was put me to sleep where I could not lift my head up off of the pillow. To be honest with you all, and I told someone this for the first time the other night, I started thinking of my life not being my life anymore and that I would possibly be out of here. That is how serious things got with me. And it wasn't just in my mind. I mean, physically, my body was shutting down on me in every way, shape, and form. I started praying. I knew that these medicines weren't working. So I started praying. I leaned on my faith. For 3 years, I leaned on my faith. And by the end of that 3 years, I was just about done. And I just asked God, I was like, I need you to show me what it is that I'm supposed to take that's going to make me better. Because I know that you created something in this earth that can help me. I know that you did because you do all things well. When I prayed that prayer, within the next week, I went to a young lady to get my hair done, which I had not done in quite some time. But I went to her and she had a bottle on her counter that looked like this. I asked her what it was, and she immediately said, "Oh, Miss Myra, this can help you." And I'm thinking, yeah, right. Remember, I've gone through all these medications. I've gone through all of this. So I'm like, there is nothing that can help me. She's like, I need to introduce you to Dr. Tiffany. And that is how I met her at first. I called her and I was like, Dr. Tiffany, I don't know you. I said, Acacia, who went to school with my daughter, told me that I really needed to talk to you because there was something that could maybe help me with these issues that I'm having. And when I asked her, she was very honest. She said, I know that the science says that the product that we're talking about helps with some of those things. I know that. She said, but you have a lot of issues. And so I don't know if that's going to help you. She asked me to try the product for 3 months. She asked me to do that. And I said, nope. I said, because I've tried everything. I've literally tried everything. And so I'm willing to try it for a month, and that's it. I told you guys I was trying to check out. I really was. I had contacted a funeral parlor. I was trying to figure out how to check out. At any rate, she said, I want you to try this, then try it for a month. She said, and if it doesn't work, there's a 90-day money back guarantee. I wasn't hearing any of that. I'm like, I want to be better. I want to be better. I want to be better. I started on the protocol at the end of April. About 3 days later, I contacted Acacia, the young lady that initially introduced me to Dr. Tiffany. You're right, but God. And she said, I asked her, I said, what is in this? And she said, I don't know. She said, but I'm telling you, like, how do you feel? And I said, I feel different. I said, but there's no way that it's working. That's all in my mind. There's no way that it's working that fast, that good. By the end of the first week, my joint pain was gone. It was gone. For the first time in 3.5 years, it was gone. And all I could think about, because I'm in ministry, was all the people that I knew that had suffered with COVID and debilitating things afterwards, and how this might help them. So by the end of the third week, I contacted Dr. Tiffany and I was like, how do I get this out to everybody? I wasn't even thinking about me anymore, even though it has totally aged me backwards and changed my entire life. I am now able to go to the store and shop. I'm able to worship lead every Sunday without sitting in a chair, without coming home and having a nap for 4 hours afterwards. I'm able to do that. And it's only by the grace of God that that's happened, and by this product. I asked him for something natural, and y'all, he was faithful and just to give me exactly what I asked for. And I promised him that if he healed me, that I would show everyone that I knew, that I would let everyone that I know about this protocol. And so that is what I'm doing. I always say that I started distributing it by accident. Dr. Tiffany says different. She says that it was divinely inspired, and she's probably right. But I want you all to know, if there are any of you that are hedging about whether to try this, you need to try it. I'm at my 3-month mark now. I've lost 23 pounds. I have my life back. My hair that was coming out in clumps is growing back. My nails are growing when I had no nails. I mean, that seems superficial, but I'm just telling you. And I'm able to see my feet for the first time in 3 months. I had so much inflammation on my body. I looked like I was carrying 2 pregnant pandas in front of me. And now I'm wearing clothing that I have not worn in years. And it's all thanks to this protocol. That's my story.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Tiff, I've never heard that.
I told you. That's why I tried to tell people. Y'all need to get the tagging
Jeez. Okay, let me run through here, guys. I want to run through here. And by the way, Myra, I don't know if you saw all the love that you were getting in the comments there. Guys, let me go through, because we wanted to keep this to an hour, and that means we got about 7 minutes left. Okay. First and foremost, what is the product? It's called the Unicity Field Rate System. It is a combination of 2 different products and 1 practice, the practice being intermittent fasting, 16 and 8 time-based eating schedule. Now, there are 2 different products. The one is a tea called Unimate. I described that before. The other product that we take is called Balance. And I say Balance, these live streams go across the world. There may be some parts of the world that are listening to us right now that it's called Bios Life in other markets in the world. These products, guys, are available in almost 60 countries globally. It's a worldwide thing. This isn't new. It's just new to the United States because we've been so pharmaceutically driven. I just made that word up, by the way. Pharmaceutically driven. Anyway, you get the point. Balance has been around since the late 80s. It's been studied at the Cleveland Clinic, the University of Sydney, Australia. The Cleveland Clinic, if you're unfamiliar with them, they are widely perceived to be the top heart hospital in the United States and one of the top heart hospitals in the world. The Cleveland Clinic looked at this product, I don't know, 2001, so a little over 23 years ago. And they said that it could potentially decrease the need and or dose for lipid-lowering prescription drugs. That's a quote. That's a statin. So that's a powerful statement from the top heart hospitals. If you're on a statin, this may be something you want to entertain. And of course, I'm not saying stop taking your statin. You talk to your doctors first. But if you are on a statin, or if you're trying to get your cholesterol, maybe you've said, you know what, I don't want to go on the statins. I don't want to do that, but I know that I have a cholesterol problem. There's no reason you don't try this. The other place it was studied was the University of Sydney, Australia. Now, that's an interesting place. They maintain the International Glycemic Index database as well as website. In fact, if you go to glycemicindex.com, it will take you to the University of Sydney, Australia. They have a professor there. Her name is Dr. Jenny Brand Miller. In fact, she's the one that leads the team that maintains all of that stuff. Dr. Jenny Brand Miller has studied BioSlife Balance, and she found that it lowered the glycemic as well as the insulin index and the blood glucose as well as the blood insulin levels. Pretty powerful statements. So, guys, if you've been invited to hear, know that this product costs $159 per month. That's about $5.50 a day, US dollars, give or take a few dimes maybe, but it's pretty inexpensive. The company, as we've said, offers a 90-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied with the product for any reason, just ask for a refund. You call them up and they will give you all of your money back. But what if it works? What if you're Myra? Right? What if it actually does work? What if you're like all of the people that have been commenting? And in fact, I noticed that everybody was commenting in here. But if you are on the system, would you do me a favor and just one more time put up in the comment section what the product has done for you? And I'm going to try and highlight those, pin them to the top here. If it is something you want to try, you were probably invited to this by somebody else. They tagged you and brought you into this live stream. Get with that person right there. That person will tell you how to order the system. They have a referral code. You can use their referral code to get a lifetime discount to the product, okay? So with that being said, I think we should jump into some questions. We got a few minutes left. Let's take some questions here. And I'm going to pin some comments while we're waiting. Stephen, in 3.5 months, A1C down from 6.3 to 5.8, lost 12 pounds, lost 6 inches on my waist, brain fog gone. Boy, we hear that all the time, right? Replaced with a sharp mind, chronic fatigue down from 3 to 4 hour daily naps to 15 minutes a day if needed. Renee Peterson, 6 months, I'm down 52 pounds, 39 inches, off blood pressure medications. Inflammation is drastically reduced. Grocery bill is down. That's an interesting one, right? Vertigo is gone. So vertigo, there's a weird one. Vertigo is caused by insulin resistance too. It literally kind of is a one size fits all. Let's see. Ron Davis, down 27 pounds from a 4X to a single X. I have a funny story about that. Dr. Tiffany, I just bought myself a new chef's coat. And I went and I ordered it online. And I've always liked kind of baggier clothes, so I bought a double XL. Now, when I started this, I was a triple XL. I bought a double XL, and my entire family was like, that is way too big. And I was like, it felt like I was swimming it. So I sent it back, and I ordered an XL. And I put that on, and it was way too big. And I ordered a regular large. I went from a triple XL down to a large. The chef's coat that I bought was a large. Carol, pain-free after 1 week. That's powerful. Richard Stansel lost 25 pounds of weight. Laura Beal, the product eliminated sugar and carb cravings. Tanya, reversed type 2. There's another. Reversed type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, off meds, lowered triglycerides, cholesterol, down 35 pounds, reduced oxygen 24/7 down to only at night. Tanya was on oxygen therapy 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 17 years. John Hilliard, I've been on it for 27 months and I'm down 100 pounds. Wow. Kendra Crop, glucose went from 341 down to the 130s. Healthy life in the fast lane. It totally changed my life, actually saved my life. It's amazing how many people would say that. Michelle Morgan, I'm down 98 pounds in 11 months, lost about 80 inches overall, extreme IBS gone in 3 days. I was the same story there. Extreme fatigue and brain fog gone. Inflammation is drastically down. Tony Likens, I'm unmedicated, dropped 40 pounds and 21 inches, A1C from 10.7 to 6.3, blood pressure and cholesterol. Guys, I'm trying to keep up with them, but I want to, boy, there's a lot. I'm not even getting close. Okay. If you want to order the product, get with the person who tagged you and invited you to this live stream. Give this thing 90 days. If it doesn't work, if you're not completely satisfied, ask for a refund. They'll give you all your money back. There's kind of a no-brainer. My wife used to say, you've got nothing to lose but diabetes. Myra, if you were giving parting words to an audience, Myra, what would you say to an audience right now that's listening to you intently? By the way, that was a wickedly powerful story.
If I could give parting words, it would be to truly, truly walk by faith and not by sight on this one, y'all. What do you have to lose? You have a 90-day money back guarantee. You can just not like it and you can get your money back. Not going to happen, but I think that if you don't at least try it, that you're doing yourself a disservice. Don't suffer in silence. Don't. Run and try it.
All right. Myra, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and shut that camera off. Thank you, Myra. I appreciate you jumping in and giving your testimony. Beautiful story. Dr. Tiffany, what do you got to say to people as we leave?
Oh my gosh. You know what? After I met Myra and got her actually to where she's actually moving around and going to Walmart without needing the cart and saying her story so much so that I want to cry every time, I'm just done. I've done what I need to do. It's that. If you're anybody dealing with these things that medications are not helping you, what are you waiting for? Or you have side effects from all these medications you're taking. What are you waiting for? Or you just not taking anything and you're sitting there just being ridiculous and not doing anything. What are you waiting for? This just becomes a no-brainer. And I am just excited that I get to work with people like Myra, like you, like Andy, like Ro, and I get to see these great results because it keeps making this worth doing for me. And so please, I mean, if you have anybody, family members, stop tripping over these people at these family reunions dying or with amputations or with type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, with their guts way at their knees. Stop. We need to help each other out. That's it.
How do I follow that? We're doing this for everybody who's interested. We're doing this every Tuesday night now. I love the interaction with Dr. Tiffany, and I'm flattered by the fact that she would want to be in my presence. But I love listening to you, Doctor. I learned so much from you, and you bring so much to this call, guys. We're going to do this every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll have a whole new wave of people who have had an amazing journey on the story. Dr. Tiff will explain how it's worked for them just the same. Come back next Tuesday night. If you know somebody who could benefit from this, but they don't have a Facebook, know that this thing is broadcast on YouTube. Dr. Tiff, you want to give your YouTube channel out?
Yeah, it's Dr. Tiffany Marie.
And mine is The Healthy Pitmaster. It's going out to both of ours. It's also going out to my Instagram and my Twitter. So there are, if you're interested, There are other platforms. If somebody isn't on Facebook, there are other platforms that this is being broadcast to. There's no reason that everybody in the world shouldn't know about this. Come back next Tuesday night and listen to some more. Doctor, thank you very much. I love the fact that you're willing to give up your time. Your time is very valuable. We all know that your time is valuable. This is amazing that you do this. It really is amazing. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
All right, guys.